Welcome. This podcast is a series of candid conversations exploring the human experience from a completely new perspective. In it, we will be diving deeply into the meaning of commonly used words and pointing you away from that old stressful way of looking at life and towards a new paradigm. This will help you find a sense of calm, cultivate meaningful relationships, and create harmony in every aspect of your life. Here is Navigating Life with Ease with Michaela, Ellis and Clare, Downham.
Hello, Clare.
Hello there, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm just overwhelmed by the fact we now know who says hello. Listeners probably don't realise that every time we come on to the podcast, we have this weird pregnant pause where we're not sure who's saying hello first. And then we realised, was it last week or the week before? Well, why doesn't the person whose word it is, they say hello? And then
yes,
obvious. Anyway,
it's working.
Here we are.
Yeah.
So word because you said hello, you see. So
yes, indeed. And I do have a word for you. And that is intention.
Oh. That's a good one. I mean, what comes to mind first of all is that I intend to do all sorts of things and don't do them sometimes. Although less, I would say, than I used to. I used to be very distracted and go all over the place and procrastinate a lot. So I guess on that practical level, there feels to be more ease around that than there used to be. I do more of what I intended to do. You know, I come down to my desk and I do what I've said I'm going to do. And I think for me, there's something around how I guess I feel about myself. Not that how I feel about myself is connected to productivity. It's more trusting myself, I think. Now I trust myself more that when I'm intending to do something, that is what I will do. And that's quite big because I think I didn't trust myself. And I think, this is going really interesting place. I think by not trusting myself, I kind of didn't trust anything else or anyone else or the universe, or didn't feel held or safe, I think. And I think now, as I step into, this is what I intended to do, this is what I'm doing, there seems to be more faith in myself, and faith therefore that I'm moving in a direction that I want to go in. I used to be so easily derailed. I think it's that thing that I've mentioned before, where it was Dominic Scafidi that spoke about this, and he said, as we move to more towards our intentions, or move towards what we authentically want to do in the world, there is a predictability to derailing thoughts coming in. He called it the predictable BS. I think we can allow go. There is a predictability. I was talking about this to a client the other day who was saying she's like heading in a direction, and then there was like this barrage of just why she shouldn't be doing that, or why that was the wrong thing to do, or whatever, blah de blah. And that's there. Whenever we kind of set an intention, I think that is it's almost just that's reliable. Unfortunately, it's kind of reliable that the mind will boot up and the thinking will come in and it will try to knock us away from that. And I think that's because as we go to expand, whether we want to call that to an edge of growth or a comfort zone, or as we go to expand towards that, I've said this, the inner critic, the critical voice, the predictable BS is like the gatekeeper of that. It's the gatekeeper of the comfort zone. And it's there with this little sword going, no, don't head towards infinite expansion. Don't become your true self. Don't expand into what's possible for you, because there's danger. There's danger there. Because I've been listening a bit to Abraham Hicks recently, kind of instigated by being around Dominic, and I was listening to one of these Q&A session things that she does, and
Yeah.
that Abraham does, and this woman was asking about her child. So her child is 7, and she said, "Oh, he's just in the vortex all the time. He's just kind of expressing his true self all the time. Trouble is, now he's gone to school, and they're not so keen on him expressing his true self." And I just think we've all at some point expressed ourselves, maybe loudly, maybe bigger than other people around us. Adults kind of went, "Ooh, you shouldn't be doing that." And so this moving towards our intentions, moving to expand into what's possible for us, has been kind of squashed down over the years, and now the remnants of that, the thoughts that we learned from that, are still there, going, no, don't do that. It's not okay. And all we have to do is see that, really, see that as we expand, as we become more of this infinite potential that we have, as we move with our intentions, with that driving force, but that there will be some BS turning up. And I think when we know that, it becomes easier to kind of go, no, actually, no. I feel good about this direction. And I think that's the thing about an intention that comes from the heart, is just has such a good feeling to it. It just has an alignment. I've been recording meditations this afternoon, and I'm just in such a lovely feeling from putting words around things that I'd love people to see about themselves, really. So that's my little my rambling, my start of a 10, as it were. Yeah, I'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, really good. I love what you said about trusting yourself, because it is something. It kind of brought up, it might be a little bit of a different vein, but I don't think so. It's like when we do intend, it's something, it's putting our attention in a direction. And if we don't follow through, I completely saw that, was that I don't trust myself in some things, because it's just like, oh, I'm not even going to bother saying it. And then the things that I have, like, I'm not even going to bother saying that I'm going to do it, because it's just like, I haven't done it. So it's just like, it's not alive. It's not present to me. It might be something that, yeah, I want to do that. Maybe it's not the right timing. I do think it's 100% what's going on in my head. I mean, first of all, it needs to be aligned. It needs to be something that's coming from within. When an intention comes from that energy, from that momentum, from that inspiration, it can feel differently to, take some action on it. And when the thinking mind gets in the way, it can totally be derailed. And this week, I did, it came up. Coffee. I've talked about coffee a number of times before in various places, because I'll get on it and then I'll get off of it. And there's something to it. There's something about ritual. There's something about making it an event. It's special. Frankly, the taste of coffee on its own to me is disgusting. But I like the sweetness that I put in it and the cream. I like that rich, creamy stuff, right? But it's been bothering my stomach again. And I know that it's not really great for my system. If I just had 1 cup, that would be something, but I typically don't. And what I've done in the past is I've tried to replace it with something, and I'll have tea instead. But it's like, no. So this I mean, I didn't think, no, no, no. I just kind of always go back. But this week so it's Wednesday, it was Sunday night. And, it's like, yeah, I'm not having coffee tomorrow. And I went to bed and, I kind of thought about this and it's like, okay, hang on. By the time morning comes, there's so much space and so much thinking. I dream a lot. I grind my teeth. There's a lot that goes on in my mind when I when I sleep, it seems. And even the time between like waking up and getting to a point where there's a possibility for coffee, there's a lot of thinking that happens. So it's like I, did my little light and wrote on a little sticky note, water, to remind me of what my intention is, because my intention was coming from a place that felt right. And I know the mind. So it's been 3 days now and it's good. Since then, like on Monday morning, I added other words to this thing that came up. And I want to add something else in. This didn't just happen because it's like, okay, I'm going to set some intentions. What happened was I slowed down. I was camping on the weekend. I had a lot of time in the hammock. And I just really saw, wow, Michaela, you have got to slow down and just let things happen. And then all these little bits started dropping in, and that was one of the things. So it was like, wow, I think these inspired intentions were likely there before, but I was missing them because I was just covering them up with my mind, and also this sense of, ooh, well, I have to replace it with something because I don't want to be in, feeling like I'm depriving myself. And I did. I looked at, this was a few weeks ago. I had looked at replacing it with some mushroom tea. I didn't. I didn't. But it was just interesting to me how just the series of things that happened, starting my day slower, being clear, because I had, like, it was a while ago that I had this urge to set my alarm for 5:30 and I was just going to get up and go, whether it was, going outside for a walk or a run or a bike or doing yoga, whatever. It was just, I'm not going to think about it. It's just going to happen. And for, I don't know, a couple months, however long it was, it was just working like really easily. I didn't have any thinking about it until I started to think about it. And then all of a sudden, I started to press the snooze button again. I started to talk myself out of things. It's like, what is going on? And it's like, oh, just that old humanness happening, that thinking about things and thinking I need to do it differently, or maybe this isn't right. And it didn't, none of that talk felt like a solid place. None of it felt right. But it took a bit. It took a bit. It took some quiet time away to, like, oh, it was like a reset. So, yeah, this intention. There's something so simple about it. And just like any kind of, thought that we decide to think about, you can tell, if it, where it's coming from. You can tell if it's something helpful to give any attention to or not. And really where it came from, right? My thinking mind. I think about a few weeks ago when I wanted to switch to this mushroom, drink, chocolate drink, whatever. And it was just like, that was a lot of efforting. And oh my gosh, it was crazy. And then when I just thought, oh, I'm just going to have water, it was just like, yep, that was it. It was like quiet. Yeah. Anything else pop up for you?
There's something you said about it feeling stable or solid, or I don't know, like safe almost. Because, and what came to mind for me then was when we're connected to the truth of us, you know, the awareness, consciousness, whatever, universal intelligence, whatever you want to call it, doesn't really matter. There is something unchanging and unstable about that. Whereas when we are in our heads, that's always changing, isn't it? It's just never, there is an instability of that. And also, like, as well, like if we bring the body into it as well, when we're in here, there's this disconnect between the body, which is very happily sitting in the present moment, you know, doing its thing, functioning in the present moment, and the mind, which has gone off into crazy town, you know, on a crazy train of thought. And I think when we connect back to that presence, that stable part of us, the unchanging, unwavering, you know, the sky as opposed to the clouds, it's almost like there's a meshing of everything, the body, the psychology, the body, the spirituality, all coming together into the present moment. And I think that's where, if we're there, everything that we intend will happen, whether done by us or the wider field of possibility. It's like almost like everything just is lining up together into truth, I think, into presence, which is truth. Whereas so often there's a disconnect, isn't there? Because the thinking mind is so busy on about God knows what, that's completely useless and pointless. And like you saying, you know, the complications of trying to find an alternative to the coffee instead of just, you know, I'll just drink water. I remember that a client once I had when I was hypnotherapist, and I used to work with stop smoking quite a bit. And this lady said the reason she wanted to stop smoking was that it had just got so complicated. She was a first responder. So in this country, that's the person who has a little car ambulance type thing. So it's like a hatchback car, and they can be the first on scene. If they kind of are not sure whether an ambulance will be needed, the first responders go and start kind of seeing what's going on, and they may call an ambulance, you know, get a proper ambulance straight away, but they may find that actually it's just somebody who needs a bit of TLC, which unfortunately is quite a lot of ambulance calls, I think. I don't know what it's like over there, but over here people call ambulances because they've broken a nail and such. So these people go to those kind of more minor, what seemed to be initially quite minor cases. And she had to drive around and find somewhere to like park the ambulance and then go off somewhere, because obviously she's not allowed to smoke in the ambulance in the car for work, so she has to go find somewhere she kind of hide and have a fag not near the ambulance. It just all became just so complicated to try and maintain this habit, and so she was a readiness to kind of let go of that. And I think for the rest of us, that readiness, I think for me, comes more and more connected to the feeling state. And there's all that alignment. There's just something about how that feels. It feels so settled and safe and steady and calm. There's so much clarity there. But when we go up here to try and solve problems, there's just mush. Mush and stuff and nonsense and no sanity at all. So yeah, it is a lovely work.
I love what you said about getting ready for it. And just to bring Abraham, I listened to Abraham too, and ready to be ready to be ready is one of the things that they'll sometimes say. And it's like, oh, that's just following. That's just following wisdom. because wisdom, there's always more. We're infinite beings. We're made for more and more and more. We're made to create. We're creative beings with infinite potential. So we're not, I don't know, we're not fine. I was trying to think about what is the opposite of that. I mean, it's finite, but it's like we're not made to be stagnant. We can't. It's not our nature. So it makes sense that we're always becoming ready for something different. We see something new. Our level of awareness or consciousness sort of rises. Something we did yesterday doesn't make sense to do today. Yeah. So it's really natural. It's really natural.
Yeah.
I just saw this that, oh yeah, it is natural. And setting an intention that's even kind of the mind, really, to set it and make a note. And, I mean, I'm happy I did it. I think it was wisdom that said, Michaela, remind yourself because, you're really present right now, but tomorrow morning you may not be, and you might forget. I've done it where I just, plug in the kettle, get the coffee, and it's like, oh yeah, I was gonna change that. So yeah. Anyway, but it is very natural when you just allow it.
I mean, what's something that's just coming to mind is what would our lives be like if we followed all of those intuitive nudges, like we just followed them, like really just went with our hearts and ignored the continual barrage of BS that comes in all the time. I'm definitely going through a little thing around that for myself at the moment, and just noticing, how I keep going towards this idea, and then it's there. Yeah, don't do that. It's not right. It's the wrong thing to do. It's all kind of thing. So
Yeah.
and that's all in. I just want to say to people
Yeah.
that that's normal and innocent. And if you're feeling like you're a bit stuck because that keeps, you keep trying to go and it's like the BS is there and you're not seeing through it, then that is just welcome to our world.
That's right. Yeah, really. It's just being human. It'll happen. I was going to say I had done a program a couple of years ago, maybe 2-3 years ago, with Michael Neal called, it was a 30 or a 3-week program called Living a Guided Life. And I'm re-listening to it. I'm just listen to day 2. And it's like, right. And now after being away a couple, it's like, right. It's so frickin' simple. It's so simple. And it's only just our mind that makes it seem really complicated. And then we'll catch it. Right. We forget, we remember, we forget, we remember. This is part of it. But the remembering that like stick with it. Stick with it. Because more and more, you'll have more and more time where you are following your inner guidance, and less time, in the trenches, of forgetfulness. And you'll remember again. It's part of it. That's natural too. That's natural too. So
That is the
good
experience, pretty much.
Yep.
Not sure.
Yes. Indeed.
That was a good word. Good word.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate your insight on that.
Yeah, yours too. It's been lovely. I will see you next time.
You betcha. Ciao.
Bye.
Hey, thank you for being a part of Navigating Life with Ease. We'd love to hear your feedback and receive a review on your favorite podcast platform. This will help others who'd also like more ease in their life to find us. We're here to support you, so if you've any words you'd like us to explore or you've a question, please reach out to us at navigatinglifewithease@gmail.com. Again, thanks for listening, and stay tuned for more episodes of Navigating Life with Ease.